Okay, so ready for it. We're doing a deep dive into the Bhagavad-Gita today.
Awesome.
We've got excerpts from the Gita itself and a really interesting foreword that we're going to be looking at.
Thrilled.
And basically, we want to give you the good stuff.
Yeah.
Like a crash course in the text's wisdom and like why it still matters today.
It's pretty amazing how the Gita, speaks to everyone. It doesn't matter like your background or your beliefs.
Sure.
It really tackles those kind of like universal struggles that we all face, like fear, self-doubt, responsibility, the kind of longing for inner peace.
Yeah, it's all in there.
Yeah.
And it all plays out through this warrior, Arjuna, who's about to have a full-on meltdown right before this massive battle.
Right.
I mean, talk about pressure, right?
Can you imagine being so overwhelmed that you like freeze on the battlefield?
Oh my God.
That's Arjuna,
Yeah.
like in a nutshell.
Yeah.
And the Gita uses his whole predicament to kind of explore those inner battles that we all face.
Okay, so like, what's the Gita's answer to this meltdown?
So this is where it gets really interesting.
Okay.
The Gita introduces this idea of Sankhya Yoga, and it basically boils down to this understanding that your true self, your soul is indestructible.
Okay.
Even death can't touch it.
Wait, so you're saying we should all just be like these emotionless robots?
No, not at all.
Okay.
It actually emphasizes this idea of controlling our senses and desires.
Okay.
There's even this line about how powerful our senses are and how they're always dragging our minds outwards.
Yeah.
It's like they knew about clickbait thousands of years ago.
Right.
The Gita encourages us to turn our focus inwards to find that inner stability.
That's a concept we could all use a little bit more of these days, right?
I think so.
Especially in this day and age with, like you said, the clickbait and everything pulling us in 1,000 different directions.
Totally.
So we're supposed to turn inward
Yes.
to find that stability.
Mm-hmm.
But how do we actually do that?
Well, that's where karma yoga comes into play.
Okay.
So imagine being able to approach your work or relationships with a sense of detachment from the outcome. Not apathy, but like a focus on doing your best without being hung up on the results.
Yeah, that makes sense in theory, but that's got to be hard to put into practice, right?
Oh, totally.
Like when I hit send on a big project, the anxiety is real.
Oh, I feel you.
So how am I supposed to just detach from the outcome like that?
It's tough, and the Gita gets that.
Okay.
It even uses this analogy of moths drawn to a flame,
Oh.
highlighting how we're sometimes drawn to things that ultimately harm us.
Okay.
This isn't just like some lofty philosophy. It gets into the nitty-gritty of human nature. Think about those late-night social media scrolls. They feel good in the moment, but you're like depleted the next day.
Totally.
So it's about recognizing those patterns and making more conscious choices.
Okay, now I'm really intrigued, but like what about those who say that the Gita promotes violence because it's set during a battle?
That's a very surface-level take.
Okay.
Remember that the battle is a metaphor for the internal conflicts that we all grapple with. It's about those times where you have to choose between what's easy and what's right, or like instant gratification versus long-term fulfillment. The Gita is pushing for a different kind of fight, one where we conquer our lower impulses through self-awareness and understanding our true nature.
So it's about like really going deep within, truly knowing ourselves.
Exactly.
Oh.
And it offers a variety of paths to get there depending on your nature.
Okay.
There's Jnana Yoga for those who love to learn and analyze.
Okay.
Bhakti Yoga for those who are driven by love and devotion.
Okay.
And Karma Yoga for those who thrive on action.
Okay, so it's like a choose-your-own-adventure for inner peace.
Exactly. There's no one-size-fits-all.
Okay, I like it. And speaking of guidance, the Gita stresses the importance of finding a guru, a teacher, to help guide you.
Yeah.
It's like having a personal trainer for your mind and spirit.
Like a personal Sherpa for your inner journey.
I like that. Okay, so we've got these different paths for inner peace. We've got this idea of a teacher, but what about faith? Does the Gita talk about that?
Absolutely. It emphasizes the need for faith, but not blind faith.
Okay.
Think of it more as a willingness to explore, to question, to embark on this journey for yourself.
Okay.
It's about cultivating that trust in yourself in the process and
Yeah.
in something greater than yourself.
It's pretty amazing how these ancient teachings still resonate so deeply today.
It's timeless wisdom.
Yeah. And this foreword we keep mentioning, it mentions how the Gita harmonizes different approaches to spirituality, like action, devotion, and knowledge.
Yeah.
What does that actually look like in our lives?
It means you don't have to fit into a specific box to connect with these teachings.
Okay.
Imagine having the head of Sri Shankar, the heart of the Buddha, and the hand of King Janaka.
Okay.
That's how the foreword describes this harmony.
Okay.
It's about integrating wisdom, compassion, and action into a balanced approach to life.
So it's about finding a path that really resonates with your strengths,
Yes.
but also recognizing the value of this holistic approach.
Absolutely.
Okay, I like it. And this foreword also addresses those who kind of misinterpret the Gita, claiming that it promotes violence.
Right.
But the author calls them out for just focusing on this really surface level.
Right, just taking it literally.
Yeah, and missing the deeper message.
Totally.
And it is about remembering that that battle is symbolic.
Yeah.
It represents this internal struggle between our higher and lower selves.
Mm-hmm.
It's about choosing to fight against our own negative tendencies, not harming others.
Right. It's an inner battle, not an outer one.
Yeah, it's about making conscious choices that align with our values, even when it's difficult.
Exactly.
And the foreword also says that true understanding requires this inner clarity and openness.
Right.
It's not about blindly following rituals.
No.
But it's about this inner transformation.
It's about embodying the teachings.
It even says that interpreting the Gita without guidance is like ordering a pizza and receiving a salad.
That's a good one.
Right.
I like that.
The words are similar, but the meaning gets lost in translation. So you need someone to help you kind of decipher that menu a little bit.
Totally.
So it's like ordering off a menu in a foreign country.
Yeah.
You want to make sure you're getting what you think you're ordering.
You need a translator.
Exactly.
Someone who speaks the language.
Speaking of which, this whole dialogue between Krishna and Arjuna, it's not exactly a walk in the park, is it?
No, it's intense.
It's full of twists and turns.
Lots of twists and turns.
And at one point, Arjuna basically questions the entire point of action.
Yeah, he's like, why bother?
So he's like, if you already know the ending Krishna, then, what's the point?
It's a classic dilemma.
Totally.
Fate versus free will.
It's a question that I think we all grapple with.
Totally.
And then on top of that, Arjuna's about to face his own family on the battlefield.
Talk about an intense situation.
Talk about a recipe for an emotional meltdown.
That's a lot.
Right.
Yeah.
And the Gita doesn't shy away from those raw emotions.
Not at all.
It shows us that human side of Arjuna's struggle.
It makes it relatable. Yeah, we've all been there.
Exactly.
We've all had those moments where we feel torn, conflicted, unsure of which path to take.
Yeah, and the Gita's response to all of Arjuna's doubts is actually really powerful.
It's profound.
It doesn't try to sugarcoat things or give these easy answers.
Yeah.
It dives straight into those big existential questions.
It doesn't hold back.
And it forces us to confront them head on,
Right.
even in the face of all the uncertainty.
It's about finding that courage to face those uncomfortable truths.
And that brings us to this really key distinction that the Gita makes
Okay.
between the physical and the spiritual battlefield.
Okay.
So the physical battle is really just the setting for this much deeper internal struggle that's happening.
Right. It's a metaphor for
Yeah.
the inner battle.
So when Arjuna's talking about fighting, he's not just talking about literal combat.
It's about those inner demons.
Right.
Those negative impulses and attachments that prevent us from experiencing true peace.
So we're starting to see those layers of this text. But how does the Gita actually guide us towards that inner victory? What practical steps does it offer?
Well, one key concept it introduces is Sankhya,
Okay.
which essentially means enumeration or analysis.
Okay.
It's about understanding the different aspects of our being,
Okay.
like differentiating between our ever-changing thoughts and emotions,
Mm-hmm.
and that unchanging eternal essence of who we truly are.
So it's like taking a step back, becoming an observer of our own internal world.
Exactly.
Okay.
Separating the signal from the noise.
It's like watching those thoughts and emotions float by like clouds, right?
That's a great analogy.
But we're not those clouds.
Exactly. We are the sky.
Okay, I like that.
The vast backdrop against which those clouds move.
So it's not about denying those thoughts and emotions, but it's about shifting our perspective.
Exactly.
Okay.
And that shift in perspective is crucial for achieving what the Gita calls yoga.
Okay, so when most people hear yoga, they think of physical postures.
Right.
But the Gita's definition is much broader than that.
Yeah, it's not about being a pretzel.
Okay.
It's about mental and spiritual flexibility.
Okay.
Means union, specifically union with the divine or with our true self. It's about aligning our thoughts, actions, and desires with that higher purpose, with our true nature.
So it's not about the physical flexibility, it's about the mental and spiritual flexibility.
Exactly.
Okay, I like that. And just like there are many different yoga poses,
Yes.
the Gita offers these different paths or forms of yoga to help us get there. So it's acknowledging that there's no one-size-fits-all approach to this.
Right. We all have different paths, different journeys.
So tell me more about these different paths, these different yogas.
Right.
What are they and how do they work?
So one path is called Jnana Yoga,
Okay.
which emphasizes knowledge and wisdom as the primary means of liberation.
Okay.
Think of it like using your intellect to investigate the nature of reality, to distinguish between what's real and what's an illusion.
So for those who are naturally curious, who love to learn and explore new ideas, this path might really resonate.
Absolutely.
Okay, and what about those who are more heart-centered?
Yeah.
You know, they connect with the divine through love and devotion. Is there a path for them?
Yes, there is.
Okay.
That path is called Bhakti Yoga,
Okay.
which focuses on cultivating love and devotion for the divine.
So it's about opening your heart and letting that love kind of lead the way.
Exactly. Surrendering your ego, your desires, your fears to something greater than yourself.
And then there's karma yoga, which we talked about earlier.
Yes.
Finding liberation through selfless action,
Mm-hmm.
acting with dedication and purpose, but letting go of the need to control the results.
Right. It's about focusing on giving your best effort
Yeah.
rather than getting caught up in whether you succeed or fail.
Okay.
It's about the journey, not just the destination.
So you're saying that the Gita is emphasizing that true fulfillment doesn't come from like those external achievements.
Right. It's not about the accolades or the material possessions.
Okay,
It's
yeah.
about cultivating those inner qualities.
So it's about something deeper within. Okay. And it sounds like each of these yogas, jnana, bhakti, and karma, they can help us cultivate those qualities in different ways.
Yeah.
Offering these unique paths to realizing our true nature and connecting with something greater than ourselves.
Think of them like different tools in a toolkit,
Okay.
each serving a unique purpose on your journey of self-discovery.
I like it. It's amazing how the Gita acknowledges that there are so many paths to the same destination.
Mm-hmm.
But it's also like, it doesn't sugarcoat the challenges either.
Right.
It's very honest about like the internal battles, the moments of doubt, the despair, you know, all the things that we experience.
Absolutely. The Gita's depiction of Arjuna's struggles, you know, is a powerful reminder that these challenges are just a natural part of the journey.
Yeah.
You know, we all face those moments of hesitation, those internal conflicts, you know, those times where we question everything.
Yeah, and it's reassuring in a way to know that someone like Arjuna,
Right.
who's a warrior facing a literal battlefield, experiences these like same doubts and fears.
Totally. It normalizes those experiences, shows us it's okay to feel those things, to question, to feel overwhelmed at times.
And it's okay to ask for help too.
Exactly.
And the Gita also emphasizes that, right? Seeking guidance from a teacher or a guru.
Yes.
Someone who can offer support and wisdom along the way.
Think of it like this. You wouldn't climb Mount Everest without a guide, right?
Right.
You'd want someone with experience who knows the terrain, who can help you navigate those challenges.
Right.
A guru is like that for the spiritual path.
Oh.
They offer guidance, support, accountability.
So you're not just like out there on your own trying to figure everything out.
Exactly.
You got someone in your corner.
You got it.
Okay, and now speaking of figuring things out, the Gita also talks about these three gunas,
Yes.
Sattva, and Tamas.
Yes.
They sound like characters from Star Wars.
Right. They're more like the forces of nature within us. Imagine them as these fundamental energies that influence everything in the material world, including our thoughts, emotions, actions.
Oh, wow.
They're like the ingredients that make up our internal weather patterns.
Interesting. Okay, so how do these gunas actually show up in our lives?
Okay.
Like, how can I tell which guna is dominant at any given time?
Okay, so think of sattva as that feeling of peace, clarity, connection.
Okay.
You experience after a good meditation or a walk in nature.
Okay.
It's the energy of harmony, balanced spiritual insight.
Okay.
When sattva is dominant, you feel grounded content connected to something larger than yourself,
I like the sound of sattva.
right? It feels good.
What about rajas?
So rajas is the energy of passion, action, ambition.
Okay.
It's the driving force behind our creative endeavors, our desire to achieve our goals.
So it's the energy that, like, gets things done.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
Think of that surge of motivation you feel when you're working on a project you're passionate about is rajas in action.
I like that. Okay, now what about tamas?
So tamas is the energy of inertia, lethargy, delusion.
It's like the bummer of the three.
It's the one you don't want to hang out in too long.
Okay.
It's that feeling of being stuck, unmotivated, disconnected from ourselves and the world around us.
Yeah, like when you hit that afternoon slump.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Or those days when you just can't seem to get out of bed.
Yeah, or like open your laptop.
Yes, procrastination rules your life.
Yeah.
That's Tomas weighing you down.
Okay, so these three gunas are constantly like interacting within us,
They're always playing.
creating our internal weather patterns.
Exactly.
So how do we work with them? Like, how do we not let them just run our lives?
The key is to become aware of which guna is dominant at any given moment and to make conscious choices that align with our desired state of being.
So if I'm feeling like really scattered and overwhelmed, that could be a sign that Rajas is kind of in the driver's seat.
Exactly.
That's all.
And you might need to cultivate more sattva maybe through meditation, spending time in nature, simplifying your schedule.
Okay, so it's about like recognizing what's happening internally.
Yes, being aware of your internal landscape.
And then making choices to kind of shift that balance if we need to.
Exactly.
Okay. I like it. It's empowering
It is empowering.
to know that we're not just like victims of these energies,
Right.
that we can actually like work with them.
Absolutely.
Okay, now speaking of journeys, the Gita also doesn't shy away from talking about the ultimate journey.
Right.
The journey of life and death.
That's right.
And how it views death not as like an ending, but as a transition.
A passage from one state of being to another.
Okay.
Much like we transition from childhood to adulthood
Okay.
or from wakefulness to sleep.
So are you saying we shouldn't fear death, but instead try to understand it as this natural part of life?
Exactly. The Gita teaches that our true self, our Atman,
Okay.
is eternal and indestructible.
So it's like changing clothes.
Yes.
The essence of who we are remains the same.
Exactly.
Even though like the outer form changes.
It's the body that dies, not the soul.
Okay.
Understanding this can liberate us from the fear of death, allowing us to live more fully in the present moment.
It's about recognizing that death is not the opposite of life, but it's like an integral part of life.
It's all part of the cycle.
Yeah, it's about like a reminder that our time here is precious.
Yes.
And we have this incredible opportunity to make the most of it.
Exactly.
And the Gita emphasizes that how we live our lives, our thoughts, actions, intentions matters.
It creates karma,
Okay.
the law of cause and effect.
Is that where the concept of karma comes in?
Exactly.
That our actions have consequences that extend beyond this lifetime.
Exactly. Karma is often misunderstood as like a system of punishment and reward,
Okay.
but it's more like this universal law of cause and effect.
Okay.
Every action, every thought, every intention creates this ripple effect in the universe.
Like those ripples in a pond
Exactly.
when you throw a pebble in.
And those ripples, they keep going.
Yeah.
They don't just stop.
So it's like we're constantly planting these seeds.
Exactly.
And those seeds will eventually bear fruit.
Exactly. Whether in this lifetime or the next.
And the Gita encourages us to kind of act with that awareness.
Yes.
With compassion and a sense of responsibility.
Absolutely.
For the karmic seeds that we're planting.
It's about making choices that align with our highest good.
It's about recognizing that we're all interconnected.
Exactly.
And that our actions have this power to create positive change.
And that brings us to one of the most powerful teachings in the Gita.
Okay.
The concept of nishkama karma, or selfless action.
Okay, we talked about this a little bit earlier.
Yes.
Acting without attachment to the outcome.
Right.
But how do we actually do that?
It's a practice.
Okay.
It requires a shift in perspective.
Okay.
It's about recognizing that we can put our best effort into everything we do without being attached to the results.
So it's like letting go of that need to control everything.
Exactly.
To like micromanage every outcome.
Letting go of the reins a little bit.
And trusting that the universe has a plan.
Trusting that we're being guided, supported, loved, even when we can't see the bigger picture.
It's like surrendering the reins, but not getting out of the saddle.
I love that analogy.
Right.
Yeah.
But again, easier said than done.
Oh, totally.
Yeah.
It's a lifelong practice.
But the Gita reminds us that even if we can't like fully embody this all the time,
Right.
that just like striving to act with detachment can make a world of difference.
Small steps in the right direction can make a big difference.
Exactly. So even if we're not perfect at it,
Yeah.
which we won't be because none of us are perfect,
We're human.
just taking those baby steps can make a difference.
Absolutely.
Okay, I like it. Now, the Gita also reminds us that we're not alone on this journey, right?
Right.
It emphasizes the importance of seeking guidance from a teacher, from a guru, someone who's kind of walked the path before us.
Exactly.
But finding a true guru, it's easier said than done.
It's not always easy.
So how do we even know where to look?
Right.
Like, what are the qualities of a true spiritual teacher?
Think of it like this. You're looking for a guide who embodies the qualities that you aspire to cultivate in yourself.
Oh, okay.
Someone who walks their talk,
Mm-hmm.
who emanates peace, wisdom,
Mm-hmm.
compassion.
Okay.
They should inspire you to become the best version of yourself,
Okay.
not to blindly follow them.
So it's not about like worshiping this guru.
No.
It's about them being like a living example
Exactly.
of what's possible.
Yes.
Okay. And their motivation can't be like fame, power, material gain.
Right. It has to come from a genuine desire to serve,
Okay.
to guide others towards liberation.
So how do I know if I found the right guru for me?
You'll feel it.
Okay.
You feel a resonance. You'll feel a connection.
Okay.
They'll meet you where you are
Okay.
and offer guidance and support tailored to your needs.
So it's a very personal relationship,
It is a sacred bond.
built on trust and respect and these shared values.
Beautifully said.
And it's not about like, I'm going to get all the answers from this person.
Right.
It's about them helping me uncover my own inner wisdom.
To my own unique path.
It's about empowering you to become your own guru,
Oh, I like that.
your own inner guide.
Okay, and that's where that faith comes in, right? Exactly. Not blind faith, but a faith that's rooted in experience,
Okay.
in a willingness to trust in something larger than ourselves.
So it's about taking that leap,
Yes.
experimenting with these teachings,
And seeing what resonates.
and seeing if it resonates with my own experience.
Precisely. The Gita encourages us to question, to explore, to test the teachings for ourselves.
Okay.
Just like a scientist tests a hypothesis.
It's like we're being encouraged to approach spirituality with a scientist's mind. Like observing, experimenting, drawing our own conclusions based on our experiences.
Exactly.
And one of the things I love about the Gita is like its use of symbolism and metaphors.
Yeah.
Like that image of the chariot.
Right.
Such a powerful way to understand the different parts of ourselves
Yeah.
and how they interact.
It's a great visualization.
Can you walk us through that one more time?
Absolutely. So imagine a chariot,
Okay.
and the chariot itself represents your body,
Okay.
the vehicle that carries you through life.
Got it.
The horses, they represent your senses,
Okay.
always pulling you in different directions.
Right, yeah.
Seeking pleasure, avoiding pain.
So the horses are like our cravings and our impulses.
Oh, exactly.
Yeah.
There's some things that can kind of lead us astray
Yeah.
if we don't keep them in check.
If we don't keep them on a short leash.
Exactly. Now, the reins, they represent your mind.
Okay.
A skilled charioteer uses the reins to guide the horses to keep them from running wild.
So our mind is like that mediating force.
Yes.
Between like letting those impulses run our lives.
Right.
Or like reining them in.
Exactly. It's like that moment when you see a delicious dessert.
Yes.
And you have to decide whether to indulge or stick to your healthy eating plan.
It's like those internal battles.
Yes, exactly.
Okay, I like it.
And who do you think the charioteer represents?
The charioteer.
Yeah.
I'm going to guess it's our intellect. That part of us that can make those wise choices.
Yes.
Even when our impulses are telling us to eat the dessert.
Yes, our capacity for discernment,
Okay.
for making choices that are aligned with our values and our goals.
Got it. Okay.
And then finally, we have the passenger in the chariot,
Okay.
the one who's being carried along for the ride.
Okay.
And that's your true self, the Atman.
So the Atman's along for the ride.
Just observing
It's witnessing all the chaos
the drama.
that's happening with the horses and the reins and the charioteer.
Exactly. And the Gita teaches us that when the Atman is in control,
Okay.
when our true self is at the helm,
Yeah.
the chariot moves smoothly and gracefully towards its destination.
But when we let the horses take over,
Right, when the senses are in control.
our mind is hijacked by every thought and emotion.
Right, it's like the horses are in control, and that's when we can get into trouble.
Okay, so we have a choice.
We always have a choice.
We can either be slaves to our impulses or we can learn to master our minds, control our senses, steer our lives in the direction that we want to go.
It's about becoming the master of your own chariot.
I like that. And that's where practices like meditation and mindfulness come in, right?
Absolutely.
To help us like train our minds become more aware.
Strengthen that charioteer within
Yeah.
so we can navigate life's challenges with more skill and grace.
Okay, I like it. Now, the Gita also doesn't just talk about the individual journey. It also explores the concept of the divine feminine,
Yes.
of Shakti,
Yes.
as this
So the-
powerful force in the universe.
Right, it's this vibrant, creative energy that flows through everything.
Okay.
It's the animating force of the universe, the source of creation itself.
So if the divine masculine is like the architect, Shakti's like the builder,
Exactly.
the one who brings the blueprints to life.
And the Gita recognizes that both forces,
Yeah.
the masculine and the feminine,
Mm-hmm.
are essential, not just for creation, but also for spiritual liberation.
So it's about finding that balance,
Yes.
that harmony.
Within and without.
I like it.
Yeah.
It reminds me of that quote.
Yeah.
The divine is not male or female, but everything and nothing at the same time.
I love that.
Right.
Yeah.
So good.
It speaks to the inclusive nature of the Gita.
Exactly. And
Yeah.
one thing that I love about the Gita is that it doesn't just offer these like spiritual teachings.
Right.
It feels very relevant to like everyday life.
It's practical wisdom.
Yeah, like how to be a better leader in the world, how to show up in our work, in our relationships.
Absolutely. The Gita's teachings on leadership are incredibly relevant even in today's world.
Totally.
For example,
Right.
it emphasizes the importance of self-awareness,
Okay.
knowing yourself, your strengths, your weaknesses, how you impact others.
So you can't effectively lead others
Right.
if you haven't mastered yourself.
It's about leading from within.
Yeah.
Right?
Like that saying, leadership is not about a title or a designation. It's about impact, influence, and inspiration.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
So good.
And the Gita also stresses the importance of integrity, aligning your actions with your values,
Walking your talk.
walking your talk, building trust, being authentic, leading from a place of service, not ego.
So it's not about power over others.
Right.
It's about empowering others.
Absolutely.
Okay. And we can't forget about compassion.
Right. Compassion is key.
Right.
Yeah.
The world needs more of that.
The Gita teaches that compassion is essential for creating a more just and equitable world.
Yeah, it's about recognizing that interconnectedness.
Exactly. We're all in this together.
And that brings us to another really important principle.
Okay.
Courage.
Yes.
And the Gita reminds us that true courage is not about being fearless.
It's about acting in alignment with your values,
Yeah.
even when it feels scary or uncertain.
Even when your knees are shaking.
Exactly.
It's about having the courage to be vulnerable,
Mm.
to admit when we don't have all the answers.
To ask for help when we need it,
Yeah.
which can be a courageous act in and of itself.
Totally.
Right.
The Gita acknowledges that the path of leadership is not always easy.
No, it's not for the faint of heart.
It takes resilience, perseverance, a willingness to face those difficult decisions, those challenging situations.
It's about staying true to yourself, even when it's hard.
Yeah. And leading from a place of love and wisdom.
And integrity,
Yes.
even amidst all the chaos.
The chaos of the world around us.
Beautifully said.
Right.
Yeah.
It's a tall order.
It is,
Yeah.
but we're all capable of it.
Yeah.
We all have that potential within us.
And the Gita offers those timeless wisdom teachings that can guide us on that journey,
Of self-discovery and leadership.
both within ourselves and in the world around us.
It's a both and.
It is.
Yeah.
It's a reminder that we all have that potential to make a positive difference
Absolutely.
in our own lives and in the lives of others.
It's a ripple effect.
It is a ripple effect,
Hmm.
and that the journey itself is just as important as the destination.
Maybe even more so.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, that's our deep dive into the Bhagavad-Gita.
That was awesome.
We covered a lot of ground today, from the battlefields of ancient India
Right. It's quite a journey.
to the internal landscapes of our own hearts and minds.
It's all connected.
We hope this deep dive has sparked your curiosity,
Yes.
inspired you to maybe explore the Gita for yourself.
There's so much wisdom there.
And remember, you don't have to be a scholar
No.
or a spiritual seeker to benefit from this wisdom.
It's for everyone.
So find a translation that speaks to you.
Yes.
Take some time to reflect on the teachings, and most importantly, see how you can start to embody these principles in your own unique way.
And remember, you don't have to do it alone.
Yeah, find a teacher.
Find a community.
Right.
Tap into that support system.
Trust in the guidance of your own heart.
Listen to your intuition.
Until next time, keep seeking
Keep questioning.
and keep diving deep.